The Renewed Hope Initiative RHI presents the RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow. This national competition is in 3 categories. The household category is a tree planting competition amongst 11 frontline states in northern Nigeria. Each participating household in Adamawa, Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, Yobe and Zamfara states will plant a minimum of 1 tree to qualify, with a video evidence of before and after the tree planting exercise. 20 million naira will be awarded to the best household. Submission deadline is 20th December 2026. Community category will see local governments, local communities, schools and NGOs reclaim and transform degraded or abandoned areas such as dump sites, landfills, parks and their likes into green, vibrant gardens, parks and eco-friendly spaces. 50 million naira would be awarded to the overall best community group. Deadline for submission is 15th July 2026. State category will have all states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, excluding Enugu State, have a chance to address the growing threats to environmental sustainability and cleanliness. States will be judged based on the number of trees planted on major roads and inner streets and how clean they are. 100 million naira will be awarded to the best performing state. Already, Enugu State has 100 million naira for being RHI's model green state due to its greenery and cleanliness. Video evidence must be submitted by participating states on or before 20th December 2026. All entries must be directed to RHI Office, State House, Abuja, or email rhi.greenchallenge@statehouse.gov.ng. RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow.
Thank you for staying with us, everyone. The November 8th, 2025 Anambra governorship election drew over 2.8 million registered voters to the polls in what was widely regarded as a high-stakes half-cycle election. The exercise was closely watched as a test of Nigeria's electoral institutions, with INEC, the Nigeria Police Force and other security agencies implementing robust measures to ensure a peaceful, transparent and credible voting process. The polls have closed, results have been announced, and reactions continue to pour in from across the states. Tonight, we're focusing on how the process unfolded, from voter turnout to transparency and the credibility of the outcome. Joining me tonight is Ejimofor Okpara, Afghan National Publicity Secretary. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Ejimofor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jumoke, for having me. Thank you once again.
Mr. Ejimofor, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Right. Can you hear me?
So, the highly anticipated governorship election has come and gone, and I remember we had a lot of conversation prior to that day. So, first, congratulations to your party, APGA, on the victory of Governor Charles Soludo. So, how does the party interpret this win as a reward for performance or a sign of continued faith in APGA by the Anambra electorate?
Well, both. Both is both a reward for performance and also a sign of faith in the party. Remember, I was here with you over a year ago when we had this conversation, and I told you that Anambra is APGA land. I told you that if it has to do with localized elections like the governorship and House of Assembly elections, that in the Anambra do not joke with APGA. So this is a party that has continuously provided the people with very significant development, since its creation and since it took over the reins of power in Anambra State. And, come to think of it, with the current administration of Professor Charles Soludo, the people have never had it this good. This is a government and administration that has recorded a lot of firsts. It's what people have defined as a jinx-breaking administration. So there's a lot of significant developments that has greeted the state since the assumption of office of Professor Charles Soludo. And, bringing it back to his re-election, this is the first time in the history of the state that an incumbent is being re-elected with over 73%, about 73%, of the total, vote cast. And it's also the first time in the state that we're recording this mass, if you like, level of voter turnout, amounting to over 500,000 persons coming out to exercise their franchise. Out of this, over 500,000 persons who came out to vote, the governor of Anambra State and APGA amassed 422,000 plus of that.
So what message does this win or does this victory send to your supporters and to opposition parties?
What it says to I didn't get that question. Can you repeat?
What message does this victory send to your supporters and the opposition parties?
Well, the message it sends to them, our supporters, is that they ain't seen nothing yet. This is just a tip of the iceberg. The last 3 years and 4 years plus, or 3 years plus, has been characterized by massive developments across sectors. It has been characterized, like I said earlier, with a lot of jinx-breaking initiatives. And that is, like I said, the governor would always say to them that this is just a tip of the iceberg. That's to our supporters and Indian Anambra. Then to the opposition, it's a reaffirmation, a reconfirmation that it is time to be progressive. It is time to think progressively. It is time to fully accept that Anambra is APGA and APGA is Anambra. It's time for them to align themselves with the party that has a human face, the party that speaks to the needs of the common man, the party that propagates sustainable neo-welfarism, the party that at the core of our ideology is progressivism, where we leave no one behind. So every good-spirited individual, who is currently in the opposition understands that as long as you're in Anambra and you are in the opposition, it's it's simply to say that you politically you're almost like an orphan, So, but for you to for you to recognize that APGA is the party in Anambra,
and since INEC announced the official results from that election, we've seen mixed reactions from opposition parties following the announcement of results. How does APGA respond to these reactions? Most disturbing, Mr. Jimofo, of all these allegations of vote buying, he said your party bought votes. So how much votes did APGA buy?
I've said it before, and I will repeat it for the umpteenth time, that if there's any political party who should buy votes in Anambra, it is not APGA. As a matter of fact, in 2021, I'll recount this scenario. You should know it, Jumoke, that in 2021, a woman from Ukulu in Dunukofe local government rejected the entreaty from a political party. Maybe I don't want to mention the name right now. A political party canvasser who was trying to buy her vote to vote for that particular party, and it's on record that woman resisted such attempt. It tells you the quality of electorate, the quality of membership we have, and we are breeding in APGA.
So that was 2021, Mr. Ejimo. What happens in 2025?
That's what I'm telling you, that
because
it has not changed.
White people candidates, Paul Chukwuma, had said that his party is still reviewing the outcome of that election. Most of them have said they are not satisfied with the outcome of that election, except for the PDP candidates. So if evidence were to surface showing that certain individuals associated with APGA engaged in vote buying, how would the party handle it?
Well, at the end of the day, I don't have such evidence, to the best of my knowledge, do not exist. And like I told you, that APGA as a party does not need to spend one kobo in terms of buying vote to be able to win elections.
If evidence were, there is no evidence as we speak, but if evidence were to surface later, showing that certain individuals associated with APGA engaged in vote buying, how would the party handle it?
I can't be speaking to suppositions. I can only speak to facts, right? So if evidence, there is a law, guiding these things. So should I come here and begin to rehash? I want to tell you what the party stands for. Our party is a lawful party, and we keep to the letters of the law. So whatever it is that must happen, within the party must be things that are permissible, by the laws of the land. So if there is any evidence to the fact that there was some kind of infraction, I can bet you, whatever thing that you can think of, that evidence wouldn't come from APGA. It won't be an ABGA person trying to lobby or buy someone over, for a vote. I said earlier today in a TV appearance that, you see, let me tell you, when you fail and your friend fails, you feel bad. When you fail and your friend succeeds, you feel worse. Now, this is exactly the case with between ABGA and these other political parties you're talking about who are going about complaining. So, of course, I understand, but I can only extend sympathies to them. And none of them will tell you that in the build-up to this election that they didn't see it coming. This was any one of them who says that he didn't see the failure, of their political party coming is only living in self-deceit. We talk about the YPP, for instance. The only elected member they have in the Federal House of Reps, came out openly to declare that there is no governorship candidate for the YPP. That of the Nicholas Ukachukwu Kunife ticket, it remains the most unpopular and most reprehensible combination of tickets in this election.
What about the Labour Party? So what about the Labour Party candidate that had the backing and support of former Governor Peter Obi?
Like I told you, like the Labour Party, as far as Anambra is concerned, currently is on relegation. They don't exist. They don't exist here. Even the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party lost his polling unit, in this electoral process. So it tells you the level of unpopularity of that particular party. They don't exist anywhere in Anambra State. So it's not, these are facts, and I'm happy that we are now speaking to data, not suppositions or emotions. The data is there for anyone to evaluate. Out of 326 wards in Anambra State that where these elections held, ABGA won 319. This is over 98% of the wards in the state that was swept by ABGA. So these things are. It's not. It's like you mentioned in your opening. It's a twin factor of one, the commitment of the people to the party called ABGA, and also an affirmation, a reward for the good works of Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, in the state. So that's exactly where we are. And these other parties, like I said, my sympathies to them. But we've also the governor has extended the olive branch to them. We run an all-inclusive government. And any one of them who has something significant and feels substantially compelled to contribute to the development of the state, they are welcome on board. We run an all-inclusive government here in Anambra State. It's on record that the governor of Anambra State, Professor Soludo, happens to be, to the best of my knowledge, one governor who, after his, first election, he appointed members of the opposition in his government, members of the opposition parties in his government. We have people who were in the opposition party in 2021 who contested against us, who are currently serving in this government today. So, when it comes to governance and the good of Anambra, there's a philosophy, that guides us, and that is one state, one people, one agenda. We do not look at political party divides. We do not look at religion, creed, or whatever. Once it has to do with Anambra, we all come together to ensure that the state moves forward.
And, ABGA has consistently remained or maintained dominance in Anambra politics. No wonder you always say to me, ABGA is Anambra, Anambra is ABGA. But how does this victory strengthen the party's position in the southeast and across Nigeria? Does ABGA intend to remain an Anambra political party?
Well, like we've had this conversation, in the past, and I told you that ABGA does not only exist in Anambra. Maybe at the governorship level, in terms of the state we control, yes, Anambra. Are we looking forward to
what happens to other southeast states? What happens to beyond?
That's what I'm saying. Are we looking forward to mainstreaming what is happening in Anambra in other states? Well, ours is to set the agenda. Ours is to set the standard. Ours is to provide, the good, the kind of governance that will be appealing, to the people. And if our sister states, the other states in the southeast, feel enthused enough by the developmental strides they are seeing in Anambra, by the level of political stability and good governance that has built Anambra in the last 22 years, and they feel compelled that that ABGA has something quite significant that can better and change their lot.
But does it also mean, Mr. Ejimofor, does it also mean that the national leadership of the party has not been doing enough? I mean, you're the National Publicity Secretary of the party. Does it mean that you have more work to do?
Well, ABGA, we treat ABGA like a product, and as much as possible, we are ensuring that this product is very, has both shelf validity and has some level of utility for anyone who will potentially consume it. And my job as public secretary is to tell you the goods of the good sides of this product, and as much as possible, be very utilitarian in my propagation of what ABGA represents. And it is not my job to now force you to buy the product. I don't know if you're getting it. So as a marketer of the party, my bit is to tell you the good sides of the party, to tell you how positively the party can affect you. It is now for you as a consumer, a potential consumer, to look at, do your opportunity cost, look at other variables, as it appeals to your own reality, to be able to now conclude and say, okay, I want to buy this product. So this is exactly, how it is with ABGA and how we intend to, navigate going forward. So it's
now that
a progressive pattern.
So now that the governor has secured another mandate, what should Anambra expect from his second term?
Okay, well, if you listen to him at his acceptance speech, I think yesterday, he was clear. And I've always maintained that this is one government that came into power with a lot of clarity on all fronts. Clarity as to the kind of policy they want to drive, clarity as to the kind of infrastructure they want to put in place, clarity as to the vision and mission of the government in the first place, clarity as to where the state should be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 to 50 years. So there's a clear-cut blueprint and roadmap to where Anambra is going to be in the next 50 years. And much of what Governor Soludo has done is to lay the foundation. And he has done quite significantly well in laying this solid foundation in the last 3 years. Today in Anambra State, we talk about Anambra being the next destination, a destination and no longer a departure lounge. I just, I'm more or less like a cinema addict. Today I just took a stroll to the Solution Fund City, where I saw this avalanche of young persons who came and, fun seekers, who came to relax, unwind, and enjoy themselves. And I started looking at these young persons. Given the number of time I've spent in Anambra, it's a rarity, really. It's not something you could boast of, so a few years down the line, because this was a state where much of its best talents find no appeal to remain in the homeland. But today, with some of these things put in place, where they can work, massive industrialization that the governor is trying to is coming up with in the next 4 years. There's the AMIC, called the Anambra Mixed Use Industrial City, talking about the Greater Niger City, the Oka 2.0. These industrial cities and production clusters, the intention is to make the state a place where people can actually wrestle positive livelihood, positive living. If you look at the conscious investments that the governor has made in terms of agriculture through his agro and coconut revolution, where households have now been empowered with over 2.2 million seedlings of agricultural product. In the next 2-3 years, you would see that Anambra will become that point where some of these things will, the impact of some of these policies will begin to manifest. Going to what he's doing with tech through the Solution Innovation District, the vision is to make Anambra the Silicon Valley of Africa, and that's already on course, because so far over 70,000 youths have been trained and on various tech skills through the Solution Innovation District. So you look at the empowerment programs that are going up in the state, trying to skill up Anambra youths, through the One Youth Two Skill program.
All right then. So if you have to,
so there's a lot going on really, and much of what you would see is that some of these developments will be deepened. Much of them would be, revamped, and taken up notches higher than they are currently.
So if you had to advise the governor right now on 3 things to fix immediately, what would they be?
If I have to advise the governor on 3 things he needs to fix immediately.
Yes.
Okay. The first one: do not take your leg off the throttle with regards to security. Whatever he's done in security to make us sleep with our 2 eyes, recover about 8 local governments that were hitherto under the siege of unknown gunmen, he should keep on doing it. Whatever he is doing in terms of infrastructure, the rejigging, the rehabilitation, the construction and rehabilitation of roads, he should deepen that. And all that he is doing in terms of human capital development, he should also take it notches higher, both in education, in health, in social empowerment, and all that. He should deep. So these three buckets, whatever he is doing in them, he should ensure that he doesn't take his leg off the throttle.
I wanted 3. You just mentioned 2.
I've said 3. I said whatever he's doing on security, he should deepen it, right? Good. I also said that whatever he is doing in terms of human capacity development, that he should do what? He should deepen it. And that I mentioned both education, health, and the various empowerment programs going up in the state. And the third I mentioned, I said whatever he's doing in terms of infrastructure, that he shouldn't, take his leg off the throttle on these three things. All
right, that's a political answer, but I will take it like that. But let's talk about the overall assessment of the election. How would you describe the overall conduct of that election? And for those who said that election was a litmus test to Professor Amupiton's leadership, I mean, I do not know to what extent you agreed with that, but if you were, did he pass?
I was largely both on the field and also in the situation rooms, and I also tried as much as possible to sniff around to understand what happened with regards to what most observers had to also say. And from my own personal observation, both on the field and at the various situation rooms, I'll tell you that but before 6 p.m. on the 8th of November, the IREV had captured over 90% of the votes cast on that day. So, I really want to thank INEC for, taking up bringing up this level of sophistication with regards to their deployment of tech in the electoral process. Kudos to Professor Amupiton and his team. To a very, very, very large extent, they were very professional. They deployed technology in ways that we never imagined was possible. And the ad hoc staff and the other INEC staff who also were part of the process, they came quite early. Even in some areas where we had glitches, there was also some level of quick response from the INEC team, and any kind of anomaly that was to happen was quickly fixed. Then on the other bit too, I tell people that this election, it gives me, it's more or less like, it gives me this kind of dual feeling. First is the feeling of satisfaction in the sense that the election was largely free, fair, and very credible, and that to a large extent, were able to beat the 500,000, benchmark. Before now, we've never had this massive kind of participation in the electoral process. Then in terms of dissatisfaction, I think I am dissatisfied with the fact that we couldn't hit the 1 million vote mark that we had set for ourselves. Maybe going forward,
that's some Oliver Twist.
We'll be able to
that's some Oliver Twist. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Ejimofor Okpara, PhD, Afghan National Publicist and Secretary. Thank you so much for your time on Politics Tonight.
Thank you, Jumoke, for always having me. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Now, let's go on a short break, and when we return, we'll discuss Trump's military invasion threats. Please stay with us, everyone.